Hi guys, it's Connor from Foundered here. Today I'm bringing you my ultimate guide to a New Year financial detox. Christmas is of course a time for indulging, a time for splurging and a time to enjoy yourself. It's also a time for giving and a time for receiving, and that all costs money. Even if you weren't extravagant this year, you may have overspent or lived a little bit beyond your means. The financial hangover from our decisions often lasts far beyond the memories fading. This new year, if you want to get your finances in check, if you want to achieve financial independence, pay down debt, or stay out of debt, you might consider a financial detox. But what is it? We'll get into that now. Well, what is a financial detox? Have you ever tried to eat healthier or drink more water to flush the toxins out of your body? Usually this happens after a period of overindulgence like Christmas or New Year's or a summer holiday, for example. What we're really trying to do is to break the bad habits and lead a healthier, better life. Much like a health detox, a financial detox is looking at how we can break old bad habits, how we can start and create new good habits, and get rid of all that unnecessary spending that has crept into our budgets over the years. You could almost consider it a colon cleanse for your... Oh my God! Don't do that, it's disgusting. Before we get into our financial detox, we're going to have to speak about money. And money, much like sex, is a taboo subject. It's sensitive. Many of us are unable or unwilling to speak to our partners, our husbands and our wives about money. Why is that? Well, ultimately, we are afraid. We're afraid of what people will think about our spending habits and the decisions that we make in our finances. This is a money positive channel. You need to be money positive so that you can be open, you can be transparent, and you can be truthful and honest when you're speaking about money to those who you're engaged in along this process. To achieve your financial goals, we need to chat about money. So from here on out, it's no longer a taboo subject, at least on this channel. Show me the money! If you're ready to reset your finances this new year, follow our 4-step plan to a financial detox. But what are the steps in that? 1. Mindset. 2. Planning. 3. Understanding your finances. And number 4, tackling debt. Let's chat about mindset. Before we step away from our negative financial habits and look to create better spending habits, we're going to have to decide that we actually want to do this. There's going to be challenging days. There's going to be hurdles to overcome throughout all of this. And without conviction of your goals and a real want to achieve these financial goals, you're going to fall at the first hurdle. You need to decide the reason why you're doing this. What is your why? What changes do you want to make? A positive attitude going into your financial detox with clear intentions and an understanding of the financial goals that you want to meet and achieve, and the why is incredibly helpful. Always remember your why when the times get tough. The second step is planning. To make your financial detox a success, we first need to define your financial goals. Do you want to achieve financial independence and retire early?
Yes!
Do you want to pay off your mortgage?
Yes!
Or do you want to save throughout the year so that you don't get in debt next Christmas?
Yes!
Nice.
Whatever your goals are, understanding them is the first step to achieving them. Other goals may include paying off your car loan, saving an emergency fund, or maxing out your pension or ISA. Once we've defined that, it's into the planning phase. What then are the steps to plan for your financial goals? 1, you're going to need regular check-ins. I don't mind if it's weekly, monthly, quarterly, as long as you are keeping yourself accountable, and if there's anyone else involved, that you're keeping them accountable too. A top tip from me is that you switch your phones off for the night. Any distraction, that or the TV, Netflix, are just going to take away from, well, what is quite a serious subject. We're trying to make it fun, but ultimately, it's still serious.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
The second tip in planning is that you track your progress. How are we going to know when we've achieved our goals if we kept no data? If you are a technically minded person, you can use a Google Sheet or a Microsoft Excel document. That's absolutely fine. If you're not, then Just use pen and paper, put it in a little notebook and write down where you want to be and track your progress against it. The third step of a financial detox is to understand your finances, and that all starts with creating a budget. Before we cleanse our finances, it's important to know where our money goes each month. And if you've never created a budget before, this is probably the most important step of this entire process.
Wait a minute!
It's important to note that a budget is forward-looking. It's not a recap of what you've spent, but a plan for what you're going to spend in the next month. I also like to look at my budget on an annual basis. And the reason for this is because I know that there are certain expenses like car insurance or home insurance that come up every year. Much like tracking your calories when you're on a diet, a budget's going to allow you laser focus on your spending habits. Now, you don't need to be tech savvy to create a budget. This can all be done in pen and paper, where you write down your income and then you put down all your expenses below that. And what's left at the bottom is what you can put toward your financial goals. If you are tech savvy and you're a whiz with an Excel, you can put this into Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel and it'll do all the calculations for you. What's really great is that you can also do this on a tabular basis, and you can have a tab for every month of the year. Your budget is going to shine a light on your spending habits, and I'm not the person to decide whether or not they are good spending habits or bad spending habits, but you need to know what they are and you need to make those decisions yourself. We're going to briefly look at some of the spending habits that some of us have, and I'm no exception myself, to see what the actual cost is on any given year. If you have a sausage roll and a coffee that costs $3.50 each weekday, that's £910 spent every single year. At £296 a month, the cost of owning a car is at least £3,552. If you smoke 20 a day, it's costing you about £12.50 for a packet of eggs. And over the course of the year, this is £4,562. Only you can decide whether or not these are good spending habits or bad spending habits, but it's important to shine a light on those so that you can make that decision yourself and know where your money goes each year. It's really important to note that the more you save, the more headroom you have, the more you can put towards your financial goals. You wouldn't be watching this video if you weren't planning to make positive financial changes, and I'm going to give it to you straight. You don't need multiple subscriptions for Sky, for Netflix, Amazon Prime and Disney. You don't need takeaway dinners 3 nights a week, and you don't need that fancy new car. I promise you this, that you'll look back in many years from now and you'll thank yourself for making those decisions. And if you like my content so far, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon wherever it is on the screen. Thank you. Armed with our budget, you're going to ask me, Connor, what money saving tips have you got for me today? And well, I've got a few actually.
That's pretty good.
The first is to cut the cord or subscriptions. Right? Let's be honest with this. You need to ditch the unused subscriptions or memberships. Decide only to maintain one each month. So this month it's Disney, next month it's Netflix, and binge watch the bejesus out of whatever you want to watch on that platform. You don't need them all at the same time. You could get a side hustle. In my day, it was a second job, but there are hundreds, if not thousands, of ways to make money in your spare time. Many of them can be done online, and it doesn't mean you always have to get your kid off. Though I have a friend who sells pictures of his feet and he makes a fortune doing it. You can also make packed lunches. Eating out every day will decimate your budget. And if you're short on time, meal prep will be your biggest ally. One of my favorite money saving tips is choosing experiences over things. Your family and friends will far prefer to spend time with you than an ill-thought present. Make the difference and choose the experience over things. If you're not a member of your local library, stop the video, head around there, sign up for membership, come back, unpause the video, and then use it as your go-to for books. Libraries are free, and even if you read on a Kindle, you'll be able to get your favourite and most up-to-date books in the preferred format. And finally, you could shop around. You can shop around for your food, for utilities, for your insurance. Ask for a discount, because if you don't ask for it, they're never going to give you it. And if you don't ask, as my mum always says, you don't get. Loyalty, unfortunately, no longer pays. The final step of our financial detox is to tackle debt. Once we've got our budget in check and we've created headroom between our income and our expenses, we need to put that to work for us. When you looked at your budget, you've probably seen some recurring payments, loans, car payments. Well, your mortgage, yes, it's a debt, but we'll keep it aside for now anyway. So pay down your debt, use that money to pay off more debts or to put away for our savings for the future. It is important though, as well, that if you've done your budget and you realize that you're spending more than you earn every month, you have to treat this like your hair's on fire. We need your hair. Not to take away, this is actually pretty serious. The seriousness can't be understated in any shape or form. You're going to lead yourself into further debt, and that's going to take you further away from your financial goals. Make changes then to bring your spending under control. And as I said, treat this like a hair on fire moment. Make the changes immediately to bring your expenses under control. Once you've done that, you can take a step back and start to put your money to work for you to meet your financial goals. I did promise you that this was the ultimate guide to a financial detox, and with that in mind, I'm going to have to give you some tips as well. First up is a favourite of mine is to start a no spend challenge. With a no spend challenge that has gained massive popularity over the last few years, what you're really trying to do is to cut all of your expenses down to an absolute bare minimum. Essentials such as heating, housing, lighting, food and water, of course, wouldn't be included in your no spend challenge, and you're committing to a certain period of time, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month or a year, where you're not spending any unnecessary money. Over the past number of years, these challenges have gained lots of popularity, and you'll see people going to extreme measures of frugality, but there are others who are doing that in scaled versions. Most people use their no spend challenge to kick off their financial detox. And January is a great month for doing so because most of us are already in that mindset where we're not going to spend too much money, where we're going to keep things a little bit tighter and leaner in our budget. This obviously will make things a lot easier to maintain in that month. And if you choose your no spend challenge to continue on further, that's equally fine as well. It's important that you establish rules on a no spend challenge. You're only cheating yourself, but what's discretionary for you is an essential spend for somebody else. And it's important that you don't swap and change during the challenge. One of the biggest positives of the no spend challenge is that when you remove everything, you're forced to think about the things that give you value, so that when you start to integrate in those expenses once more, they're because you actually truly value them. If you want a glass of wine on a Friday night or a takeaway on a Sunday, it will become clear whenever you're going through this challenge that that is what you actually want to spend your money on. Now, to contradict what I've just said there about a no spend challenge, you have to allow yourself a little treat or two when you're going through a financial detox. If you go too hard on a diet and you go too extreme and you're eating chicken, rice and broccoli 3 times a day, well, you're going to go off that diet very, very quickly. And it's the same when you're doing a financial detox. This has to be something that you're going to maintain over a long time. So there need to be some treats in there. And as I did mention before, if you like a glass of wine on a Friday night, build that into your budget. If you like a Chinese on a Sunday afternoon, build that into your budget. Or if you love Netflix or Disney and that must stay, then build it into your budget. You can afford some things, but you can't have everything, and it's important to distinguish what you truly value and what you're willing to spend your money on against those things that you're just not. It's really important to remember that achieving 90% of your goal is better than failing entirely. You could also find an accountability buddy, somebody who is not going to lead you astray, but somebody who's going to hold you accountable is often touted as one of the defining factors of success for dieting or even in financial goals. So pick someone who is sharing the same goals as you. It could be a friend, a family member, or a wife, husband, or a partner. Doesn't matter who, as long as they're working with you to achieve your goals. And our final ultimate tip on this ultimate guide to financial detoxing is to treat your saving and investments like a bill. Normally, when we're doing this process and we're looking at budgeting, what's left in your budget is the money that you put towards your goal. But if you bring that up front and center and treat that goal like a bill, well, it has to be paid. Then what you do is you work the rest of the month to meet the actual goal. And when you've already 40, 50 or 60% of the way there, that savings goal or that investment goal or whatever it is won't just feel as lofty. And as the new year is upon us, there's no better time to start your financial detox. If you think about it, January is often a quieter month where we're more frugal in our households. We may have overindulged over the festive period and are in the right mindset to make changes. I know I am. Our goals for the following year may include some financial ambitions, or many of us are off and we can dedicate the time to setting up that first and most important budget. With all that said though, a financial budget should and can happen at any time during the year. So if you're watching this video in March, April, May, June, all the way through to November, you can start right now. Never wait for the perfect time because it will never come. And finally, to our recap, success is not guaranteed and you're going to have to work hard to meet your financial goals. Financial detoxing is a great way to kickstart better money, spending and saving habits. Set your goals, truthfully acknowledge where you are, and work hard to build a headroom between your income and your spending. Don't be afraid to push your limits, because even if you don't reach your overall goal, you'll look back in 6 months, a year, or 10 years from now, and you'll be so much further on than you were today. Good luck on your journey, and please feel free to leave a comment below. If you did like this video, please hit the like button and the subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video.